Shalom, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. This video should have been made a while ago. And by a while ago, I mean at least a week ago. Mainly last week, since this holiday also passed with the destruction of Nicanor, I just couldn't exactly get the time to do it. That's mainly because I had other things going on, and also just because that video in itself came out late, so, we here now though, so, congratulations. Happy late Purim. Happy late, destruction of Nicanor. To be honest, I really wasn't trying to just leave y'all like this, leave y'all with such late timing, but hey, I mean, hopefully this beautiful drawing that I made and also this little class might be able to make up for it. So just in case you couldn't tell from the title of this video or from what I just said, this is going to be about the holiday Purim, which is basically talking about the summary and the story of Queen Esther and how she was able to save our people with the help of her cousin Mordecai. Now, I'm going to try to make it simple, but also have a few details in it just to make sure that you can kind of get it really down there, because some people might want to take the holiday out of context or say something about it, which I don't know why they would want to. I mean, every other holiday pretty much has a horrible backstory, but when our backstories are actually talking about how our people was saved, apparently now it's an issue. But yeah, we're gonna just toss that to the side, and now let's go ahead and do this. Also, I am still trying to go on the basic laws and teaching y'all about those, so then y'all can know about exactly the difference between the holidays that we celebrate and the holidays that the world celebrates. But we'll get more into that when I get back on the topic of basic laws and everything else. For now, we're doing these little holiday specials, so enjoy them. So at the very moment of the story where it's taking place, we are in the Persian Mede captivity, where they started ruling in, 539 BC. So at the time, we had the king in these days was Ahasuerus, which Xerxes is his real name, and he was the king of Shushan in the palace, and he was the king of Shushan. So it was the third year of his reign, and at the moment he had a feast, and his wife, which was Vashti the queen, she was holding the feast for the women, which was already showing that little feminine women type spirit. For the men and the women? No. It's like, nah, she was trying to make her own movement. It's like, I understand you're the queen, but like, come on now, you can't do that. And then the king then wanted to flex, basically, the beauty of his queen, his wife, and he asked for her to come to the feast with him. And then an independent feminine spirit of hers kicked in, and she said, nah, I'm not coming to your little feast. I'm going to sit here where I'm at. So now, see, not only was the king absolutely furious and from this moment, it was also considering the fact that this action wouldn't only just affect the king, it would also affect all the other men and servants of him, due to the fact that there will be more women that will see her basically talking back and disobeying her lord, pretty much, her husband, and most other women are going to be trying to do that, which is a no-go, and we don't do that, not even in this truth, but even they knew that. And obviously the king went ahead and just put her away and just did not feel like having to deal with her. So just to make sure that nobody will follow in the footsteps of this absolutely disgraceful woman, the king sent a letter to every single man's house basically telling them, hey, you should be the head of the house. You should be the one that your woman obeys. And if she doesn't, that ain't for you, bruh. After this, the king basically just set up a little thing where he basically gathered all the women up to go one by one, and any woman that was found in his liking, he would take to be his new wife, which will also mean that they would be the queen. And this is where Mordecai, which was one of the Jews in captivity at the moment, this is where he saw his chance to have his cousin Esther, which even while being cousin, basically Mordecai basically taught Esther almost as if Esther was Mordecai's daughter, pretty much. So at the moment, Mordecai went ahead and told Esther to go, but not to tell her nationality, because she was one of us. She was a Jew. She was an Israelite, but she was like, you wouldn't really be able to see it. You wouldn't be able to really see it. Like, Like, you know how some mixed women, maybe you could tell what they're mixed with? You wouldn't be able to really see it. You would definitely confuse her to be one of the Persians. So everyone else was coming up to the king, going one by one. All the women was coming up. And then it was Esther's turn. When Esther went up, though, the king found a little favor in the sight of her, because Esther, she was not slacking in looks or anything like that. She looked beautiful. I'm talking like she was beyond a 10 out of 10. She was probably an 11, to be honest. So then afterwards, obviously, Esther became the queen. There was also this time where two of the chamberlains, or servants you could say, was plotting to kill the king, and Mordecai was the person to tell up about it. So he basically told Esther to tell the king that there was two people trying to kill him, and let's just say the king didn't take that very lightly. Now, there was also one of the servants, but a very more higher up servant, I guess you could say, of the king, which his name was Haman. Which Haman was an Edomite, and he was also very, very... I don't think that dude liked Jews. Well, if he didn't, he will sooner or later, but we'll get to that later on. So basically, it was to the point where, like, people were... So, like, this dude was such high status when it came to being one of the king's servants that every single time he walked through, the Israelites, they would have to bow their heads down and have to almost, like, worship him every single time he walked in. But see, Mordecai, he didn't do that. He couldn't do that because that's just against who he was, as the only person he's supposed to bow down to is God, which is exactly how we're supposed to be. And when I tell you that when he did not bow his head down when he went through, I promise you, everybody was just looking so confused and was like wondering, like, yo, why didn't you put your head down? What, you think you better than us or something? It was a point where they was just talking and just putting this up so much to the point where Haman sooner or later saw that Mordecai did not bow to him. And because of literally one person, which was Mordecai, Haman wanted to kill and murder all of the Jews. I'm talking all of them. And then afterwards, as soon as Mordecai heard that, Mordecai just started, like, he was just screaming his heart out, running to the king's place. All he had on was literally just sackcloth and ashes. I mean, that boy had no clothes on. I'm talking, he was crying his heart out as he was about to go to the king's gates, which, there's one thing you should know about going to the king's gates. If you don't go there by the king's announcement, you're destined to die. You're slain right then and there. And Esther sent one of her servants to go to Mordecai to talk to him. Like, yo, what are you doing? Mordecai explains the situation. And then Mordecai basically just has to depend on Esther to do it, which Esther, she then hears about the situation, and she's afraid because she's not trying to see her people dead. But then again, it's like she doesn't really know what to do against the king. Mordecai also reminds her that if they figure out that she's a Jew, she's also going to die, just like the rest of the Israelites. So at this point, Esther is the only chance in us being able to be saved and make it out alive. So as Esther was afraid, she then does what any righteous and rightful person would do. She goes ahead and prays. She gives a good prayer, a prayer to be able to not have a fearful spirit, but be able to speak bold, because she's going to need to make sure that she can not be shook in the presence of the king. So as she continues to give this good prayer, she basically just goes ahead and puts on her glorious garment, because, like I said, when she went to the king, she wasn't dressing like any normal sister. Nah, she was dressed really, really good. So she's passing all the doors and is now facing the king. And basically from here, she kind of just uses her beauty and any type of way that she can to be able to save her people. I'm talking like she goes from fainting on the floor to have the king hold her in the arms. I'm talking she even using game on him. I'm talking like, if you read the story, like, she was using game on him and like everything. It was just really crazy. And then afterwards, the king then found out it was Mordecai who told, and then it was told that Mordecai was the person that had the information on the two people that wanted to kill the king earlier. So then Haman comes in, and then Haman does this little thing, trying to set up Mordecai, trying to get everyone killed. The thing is, somehow they was able to put the thing on Haman, which was supposed to originally be for Mordecai. They basically just reversed it. So basically the servants went ahead and just took Haman out of there, got the black bag, dragged him out, hanged him on the gallows. Esther was able to give the power to the Jews and Israelites, and basically we was given the chance of killing anyone that oppressed us. Look at this wrong, and we putting you on a t-shirt. Step on one of our shoes, our fresh kicks, you getting put on a t-shirt. Let me have somebody put something on God. Oh, you ain't gonna be able to meet him when I'm done with you. So yeah, basically it just went from us being almost put to death to Esther being able to use her beauty and her high power to be able to save us, keep us from certain death from someone that just basically despised us. And now we was able to have some power. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary of that. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Not gonna lie, I was really trying my best to not just like mess these two videos up, because I really wanted to make them really special for the holidays, and also just cause I'm trying to see if I could step up with my videos. But besides that, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm sorry for it being so late. It was supposed to be on the holidays both. I know I couldn't probably get both of them out on the same holidays, but I tried my best. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it though. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you didn't, still send this to somebody. Maybe you could give their opinion on it. Love y'all. Y'all stay fine. Also, this is holiday. It's just like the destruction of Nicanor. It's a normal day. Y'all may not have heard about what exactly are the difference between the holidays, the regular holidays, and these holidays. But like I said, I'll get through that when I get through the basic laws. So yeah, love y'all. Y'all stay safe. Shalom.